Happy Friday, guys. I'm Aaron from PhoneDog.com, and if Android's just not your thing, well, there are a couple of BlackBerry options available on T-Mobile. One of those is the new BlackBerry Curve 9360. It's going to be available soon on the nation's fourth largest wireless carrier, and it's packing pretty reasonable specs and a nice little bump that is from the original Curve line. It has an 800 megahertz processor, 2.4-inch display, and a 5-megapixel camera on the back with a flash. So I overheard somebody say today they're not sure why anybody would buy a BlackBerry, and it's really a legitimate question in today's market. Is this a good device to get, or should you spend a little bit more and perhaps get an Android device or the iPhone or Windows Phone 7 device, something that has better internet capabilities, better abilities with apps, and more? It's a good question. We're going to look at that and more in the full review of the BlackBerry Curve. But first, special thanks to my friends at Best Buy because they hook us up with a ton of phones for use in our One Paw Bandit game. When you go into Best Buy Mobile, they're unbiased. They're going to help you with your phone. They're going to get you good advice, whether it's Verizon, AT&T, Sprint, or T-Mobile. They're going to be unbiased in their selection. Enough of that. Let's get into it. Review time. So for part two, let's bounce back a little bit and take a look at the overall design, because there are some minor changes to BlackBerry 7. Just outside of the cosmetic differences that you'll see with some of the icons, there are also some things, and these kind of came in with BlackBerry 6, but you'll see some changes, especially if you're coming from something like the 9700, which was running BlackBerry OS 5 forever, and some of the older devices. You'll notice that right out of the gate here, you have this control panel up top. So I can go over here, not only can I see battery life and the signal strength indicator, but I can see mobile network, I can turn on Wi-Fi or Bluetooth, kick them all off if I want to, I can set my clock alarm, and I have all these options for Wi-Fi and service status and options and more. So we'll go into options, and there are, it does offer a reasonable level of customization. You can come in here and not only change the wallpaper and the download folder, things like that, but you can also change the font. So you can see BB Alpha Sans. I have the font size set to 7, I have the style set to plain, and smoothing turned on. So you can see, for example, if I want to change it to 10, you see the sample here that pops up. And then, of course, I can change the font as well. So if I want to go to BB Alpha Sans Condensed, I can do that, and I can go down to 8, let's say, and you'll notice that the font changed ever so slightly. I don't like that. Let's change that back. Change it back to 7. I'm so used to the touchscreen. I keep wanting to, it takes everything in me not to do the touchscreen. But you can see here, some customization there, some categorization with messaging. But again, just in comparison to some of the touchscreen alternatives, the customization options are few and far between. But you got that little notification panel. Then you have this, which informs you whenever you have a new tweet, or a new direct message, I should say, a new email, a new text message. They're all going to pop up right here. So you can see I have a voicemail and I have a private message on Twitter. So I can click on that, and you see it pops up on Twitter, and I can immediately go to this and see the Twitter for BlackBerry smartphones intro message, and then it'll show any text messaging and more. It's just kind of a notifications drawer, if you will. And then over here you have your profile, where you can turn your profiles off. You can set them to normal, where it rings, set it to silent, vibrate, things like that. And then you can come back over here and click on search. Now I have to give BlackBerry credit. They do have a decent search menu when you go into contacts. Let's take a look, for example. I'm going to see if my contacts synced up, because I'm going to go to old, and you can see Old Man pops up, and it brings up my email account, oldmanmctweety@gmail.com as well. So I have the options, and so it brings up anything with old. So I'll probably type in Old Man, for example, and you can see the contact pops up. Then it allows me to extend the search through a litany of different programs: YouTube, Music Store, BlackBerry App World, BlackBerry Maps, and more. So I'm going here to Old Man, for example, and you can see the home phone number. No recent activity, but if I had emailed him, I had text messaged him, I had said, "Hey, old man, want to get a beer after work?" something like that, it would show up right here. And then I can go into edit just to show you what it looks like. And you can add a picture for Old Man, you can add a title, company, and RIM's always done a great job on the BlackBerry devices with personal information management. This one's no exception. You can see on email addresses, if your email, you have your home, your work phone numbers, you can add a BlackBerry PIN, you can add custom ringtones and alerts, addresses, dates, birthdays, anniversaries, so you can add all the options, anything you know about Old Man, from where he lives to his birthday to his anniversary, all in the contacts, and that's easily searchable that way. And same thing with mail. If you have something that pops up, if Old Man and I had sent some emails back and forth, they'd pop up and say emails, for, or something like that. For example, shows one email here in Old Man McTweety that apparently had old written in it, and that's a nice little search functionality. So especially if you have a lot of emails, you're like, I remember typing to Sarah the other day that we're going to have a proposal, so I can type in proposal and it'll bring up anything that's relating to proposals or sales proposals, things like that. So let's take a look at the browser and see. This is a 3G device. It's not running on T-Mobile's 4G HSPA Plus network. We'll load up PhoneDog.com, and it's been particularly interesting because, yes, the browser is better as a result of it being BlackBerry 7. Huge improvements on the browser front, but there's no touchscreen, so you can't pinch to zoom on this device. You have to rely on manually zooming in and zooming out. which, again, in comparison to some of the other even $99 options on the market, they're just better browsers out there. So if that's something, this is going to be a device for somebody that likes to text message a lot, that likes to BBM a lot, and that's about it. If you're looking for media functionality, you listen to a lot of music, you browse the web a lot, you're probably going to want to look at one of the mid-range Android devices. We'll wait for this to load up and see what it looks like. So you can see here, and then of course your options up here. You can add it to bookmarks, add to home screen, send page address, copy page address, and then I have the ability to see which pages are open. So it comes up in a nifty little box here with a nice blue background, the best phone news and phone reviews. So you see Phone Dog, I can open up a separate tab if I want to, and then I can go automatically back to Phone Dog. So pretty easy. But you see here's the page, it's loading up now, and then I can go over here and zoom in. But again, no pinch to zoom because the screen it is a touch screen. So I have to zoom in this way, either zoom in and out that way if I want to. I can scroll over and click. And yeah, it brings me in, but still not nearly the same, not nearly as functional as the browsers on iOS, on Android, or heck, even on the 9900 and 9930 with the pinch to zoom capability. So that is something you're missing out on. Even though it's definitely an improvement over BlackBerry 6, it needs some work, and it's gotten to the point now where without a touchscreen, it's really, really hard to browse the web. Now you do get some media functionality, and you get, like I said in part 1, you get the camera. And I showed off the 5 megapixel camera, but you do have, of course, a video camera as well. You can take some basic videos, again, basic pictures, and that's going to be about it. Let's see if I have any media we can listen to. I have one song on here, and I'll turn it up so you can hear the speaker. And it's a surprisingly nice and loud speaker. So it definitely works pretty well. And so if you have some music, the real challenge again, and I hate to keep harping back on it, but you look at iOS and you look at Android, and there's a great media ecosystem around iOS. Within 5 minutes you can be downloading music from iTunes, and Android isn't as great, but you have Google Music and you have some of these other options where it's pretty quick and easy to get music on the device. And again, you're going to have to resort to the old USB cable for this one, to sync over your iTunes music or whatever program it is that you use. But again, just scroll through this pretty quickly. Favorites, media, downloads. I can disable this if I want to. If I just wanted to see one area like all, I can go in here into Manage Panels, and I can remove all of these. So when it pops up on the home screen, it just shows all, and then it expands out that way. So all in all, the functionality. Let's take a look at Twitter actually before. So we'll do Twitter, and we're going to say Compose Tweet, and we're going to say this is the BlackBerry Curve 9360. Now this is RIM's Twitter application. This is Twitter for BlackBerry, and you can see it's relatively functional. Tweet, and then I'm going to pop that up, and it should refresh. When I go over here and say refresh, it should refresh up once it loads, and that gets everything good to go. But you have your ability to check your mentions, your private messages, your lists, what's trending, search, and more. So there we go. This is the BlackBerry Curve 9360, so I can click on that, and let's get this going. And so you can see there how many tweets I've sent, the follower count, following, and more, favorites, and more. So there it is. There's my picture. We can zoom in on that. So it's a relatively functional Twitter application, and that goes back to what I was saying before. If you tweet a lot, if you use Facebook a lot, if you send a lot of text messages, a lot of BBMs, this is going to be your device. It's got a relatively decent physical QWERTY keyboard. It's definitely better, even though it pales in comparison to the 9900s, it's better than the on-screen keyboards on a lot of devices. So I think it's going to be for the ultimate person that text messages and just sends messages, period, quite a bit. Otherwise, honestly, if you're looking for a good browsing experience, you're looking for a good media ecosystem, you're looking for downloading apps, this isn't going to be your device. And I would take a good hard look at some of the other devices that are right there in that $100 price point at T-Mobile, or heck, even consider spending a few extra bucks and getting the Sensation, getting some of these new devices that are coming out, the Amaze, the Titan, some of these other devices, because really when you look at it, again, you're spending $75 or $100 more, but you're keeping this device over the course of 2 years, and you're paying exactly the same. So you're not getting any sort of discount outside of the upfront cost of the device. It may be worth going with a higher end device. Much more coverage to come on the BlackBerry Curve 9360 on PhoneDog.com. Hey, like us on Facebook, Facebook.com/PhoneDog. We're always doing giveaways, and we just like talking to you, so check us out, Facebook.com/PhoneDog. Let me know what you think of this device. Follow me on Twitter, PhoneDog_Aaron, and on Facebook at Facebook.com/PhoneDogAB. It's almost the weekend. Weekend's almost here. It's almost the freaking weekend. And it's time to go have some fun. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you next time.